Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Happy Q&A Tuesday. I got such a great question for Q&A Tuesday. Somebody said, and this is not the only time anyone has ever asked this or had this kind of experience. Somebody asked, I have done therapy, I've done programs, I've done 1,000 different, courses, I've read books, I've gone everywhere, I've attended meetings to stop my self-sabotage behavior. I mean, I have been focused and targeted on this self-sabotage behavior for years, and I've done so many things to try and stop it. Now, I do like to see, I know so many people come to me to look at eating issues because that was my strongest, or it seems like the most heavy sort of sabotage behavior, the way it showed up in the world, binge eating, the anxiety, purging, over exercising, it's just the intensity and kind of like pushing it to the edge, right? Weight loss and gain looks very intense. But really, as some of you might know, I mean, other self-sabotage behavior is all the same thing. Some people might think of it as like the anxiety that I had running was also sort of like this. You could say it's a sort of a self-sabotage way of thinking. Sabotage, interesting word in war. We're sabotaging something, or we're sabotaging, we're damaging something, we're diminishing something, we're making something worse when it seems to be good. We're tricking, coming in from behind, making something so it's not successful. So not just behaviors, but ways of feeling like anxiety, or ways of even thinking, sort of how we're seeing life. Maybe there's even layers in this, I'm not sure, but it looks like this behavior on the outside. It looks like this feeling, very uncomfortable. And of course, then we'll try, okay, look at this. This is the problem. So I'm going to go to an inpatient treatment center for people with eating disorders. I mean, of course, that's what I would do and what I did. Absolutely. That sounds really good to spend 6 weeks doing something completely different, just taking myself entirely out of normal life, and all the people helping to do as much as immensely possible to get on track, and and also just take myself out of all that heavy behavior. So that's one of the things that I did long ago. I also did many other things. And that wasn't the cure, as it turned out. I still had a lot of stressful thinking. I still wound up binge eating. I mean, and it was almost like, I can't even believe I'm doing this. I thought it would be over. I had such a dream of the whole thing where it's going to look like this, and then there'll be this day when it's over, and I'm going to go through something and see something new, and then it will be over. And from then forward, I won't have to deal with that anymore. The thing that I see now, and I still have a tendency to like, wow, I want to look at that, and I want that to, like be improved or look different, or I want to find out whatever that is, or explore. But there's just such a different feeling now. Like, it's not critical. So just look at when it looks like it's critical for a happy life. That thing needs to change for me to be happy and have a happy life. I mean, let's do the work. Like, let's look at this, in such a compassionate and open-minded way, as if we don't know the answer. If you were an alien from another planet and you just got here and you never heard that you were supposed to be a certain way, or feel certain things, or think certain thoughts, or this is what success looks like, and people shouldn't do that. Shouldn't be anxious over here. Like, what's wrong with you that you're anxious? What's wrong with you that you eat like that? Anyway, if we didn't have that, it's almost hard to even imagine not having that as a human being. All the things of the way it looks like we're supposed to be and feel. So we put a big circle around this thing that looks like the terrible behavior, even the craving itself and the wanting appearing, those feelings, that anxiety. And we call that like the doing of it, the being in it, the feeling in it, self-sabotage. And there's a harshness to it. We'll say, look how horrible that thing is that I do. Look at that way that I feel. What's wrong with me? I shouldn't be like that. Boy, something's really missing here. I need something. I need to track down something. I need to get something. I need to find the answer. I need to do something, right? I need to fix this anxiety. That's what I need to do. I think I thought that when I was like 15, or something for the first time. Maybe even before things seem even way heavier and worse. But it's just like I shouldn't be this, shy. So anyway, we just have this thing that happens. And I love the agreement here. Like, yes, I can relate. Very human, right? There's this thing that it looks like, God, if I could just get rid of this thing and change this thing and make this different, oh, my life would be so much better. Obsessed with fixing it. Excellent way to put it. I get obsessed with fixing it. Don't you love obsession? I love the word obsessed. Oh, it's the way we describe like something that looks like it is just the only thing on our mind, looping like a recording on that's stuck, just in this. Oh my God. So first there's the thing that rises. Oh no, not you again. Oh God, get away. Aggression, kind of defensive, that. And then I'm going to, I'm going to war with this. I don't like it. Here it is again. Drat. And maybe even more. And sometimes a lot of talk about the self, like, my mind can be so harsh. People's minds can be so harsh. You're such an idiot. You already know this stuff. You've been at the, you've read the books, it just kind of like has this attacker zone. I call that picking up the knife. Maybe the knife is, you've got it, you're wearing one on your belt and you just got the knife and you're kicking yourself, you're stabbing yourself with the knife for even having this thing come along. And you're definitely hating the thing that comes along, the actual experience of the craving or the episode that just happened. What's really interesting about self-sabotage when it shows up as behavior, like either procrastination or eating behavior, overeating behavior, or over drinking behavior, or picking at your face, all these things that we're doing that humans tend to do to kind of release stress and anxiety. They'll look so bad, and we'll all have our thing, maybe different things that we're doing, and it just to notice, I hate this thing, and what that feels like when we're believing that thought. This thing needs to change. This experience, this thing that has shown up, called a feeling, this memory that has appeared, this behavior that I have tended to do. I have lots of memories of doing this behavior. And notice the harshness of when we believe that thing needs to be gotten rid of. It's really interesting, isn't it? I mean, it goes from like hopeless, depressing. Of course, there's like then research mode. Let's figure it out. Maybe there's another book. I've ordered so many books from the library. I still do that. I'm like, oh, that's a cool topic. Order. I'm never going to read. I'm never going to read all those books. I look through, and if one of them is a great one, great. Okay, I like information, but sort of, so then we're maybe a little more hopeful, but we're kind of in grabby mode, or I got to find the answer. Um, and just watching all the different things that happen. But when we believe this thing is absolutely a problem, and I mean, it really looks like it's a problem, but when there's a firm idea that it is, there's all that, like, either research, or I'm going to double down and I'm getting disciplined, and I'm going to make rules for myself and set timers. And I'm doing a survey right now because I'm about to do a self-sabotage workshop. And people are so amazing because they're sharing all the things that they've done to quit some kind of self-sabotage behavior, or something they don't like about being alive. Really, is what it is. But there are so many things that people do, and then so many things that people have tried. And, if lots of rules and setting timers and doing all this and that, worked, it would have worked by now. Wouldn't it have? Don't we want the feeling of peaceful acceptance, like to actually not even be interested in all this behavior and what it is that we're doing? But more on that in a second. But just notice what it's like when we really think this thing is absolutely horrible. I'm so sick of it. I'm so frustrated. It looks like it looks like misery. And sometimes the things we come up with, like that I need to do special programs or I need to stay vigilant, that doesn't look that great either. Well, like diets. Never liked diets so much, right? Or, if you're supposed to, I don't know, you need to be locked up for the rest of your life in some way, or you need to control this, or you need to get away from those people so that you never feel anxious or upset. And then you spend your life, kind of avoiding. That all doesn't look really that great either. I mean, interesting to notice. This is the question: what happens when we think this thing is absolutely, certainly, definitely a problem? Let me just notice all the approaches to this is a problem. And they look kind of stressful, don't they? I mean, it all looks harsh and hard or boring, or I don't know. People have different ideas about whatever it is for them, and it feels hopeless when we've tried so many things. So it is very strange in many ways to do this self-inquiry work. And self-inquiry, it means asking really open, deep questions about what it is that we're looking at, and being willing to have an open mind without that sort of assuming answer. Like, what if we didn't assume this thing that we're doing is for sure a problem? And I know it can look bad. I mean, if you're a drug addict living on the street, that doesn't look very good, does it? But to just kind of, there's this thing way back, I learned somewhere in college, suspension of disbelief. We're suspending the I know mind. Sure, things look like suffering when we're underway in this process, but I wonder what's going on here. I wonder what's happening, and what if, as I'm wondering, I'm not asking that question with and I better find out, because then I can attack the problem and fix things. It's more like, how curious that this is going on. How interesting. And even, this is sort of strange. What if this is happening for extremely good reasons? What if there is something that's healthy about this happening? What if it makes sense that this would be happening? Can you just imagine that for a moment? What if there is something extremely well-intentioned about however it is that I've self-sabotaged. So just the other day, this past week, in doing this work that I do with people all the time, inquiry and myself, just noticing stories, noticing feelings, wondering, doing this process of being curious. Somebody was noticing that she loves to eat when she has a big project that's happening. There's a big project, there's a lot to do, she needs to finish it. This is not an uncommon thought. And so she's just got this food that she keeps coming back to, kind of like refuel, refuel, refuel. Some people might feel that way about something else. There's some other kind of nervous habit, nervous, condition, nervous thing that's going on where that's what is done in order to kind of do this. I need to get through this project. And we wound up questioning. So let's look at that project. Let's just assume that the thing you want to do here, in this case, eating, is actually coming in to help out, to bring some balance. It's like, maybe I haven't seen something about just the way that I'm looking at this project that needs to happen. I'm actually thinking that needs to get fixed, finished, completed, done with, handled. The same like fix it mode kind of attitude on the project. It'll be dangerous if I don't do it. It really needs to happen. I will not be happy until it's done. Housework can be like this, all the things on the list, busyness. So what if we looked at that and said, what if I didn't have to absolutely do it? What if I'm not contending with life? Things come in and I'm like, I'm a victim of this. I have to deal with this. This thing is bad. I need to be aggressive about it, handle it and do something and double down and feel the defense when you're thinking that, or the anxiousness. This inquirer she had this project. It was actually a house project. So she's the one that, had the project running. I mean, there wasn't even a boss involved, although this happens a lot. There's a boss and there's a company you work for and you have to do this project. You think, I have to. There's this approach. It kind of it starts to look fundamental, critical, very, so important. I want to get this done by the end of today. I don't like the way it's unfinished in my house here. So to settle down and ask and say, so the eating thing is coming in as something that's trying to help out. We think we need fuel for this, extra fuel, extra energy to complete this project. So who would you be without the story? What if you didn't have to? What if you were free to do or not do? What if you were completely free? No special plan or program or system or structure or something necessary. And I know sometimes those can be helpful to have in place for people, but what if I really want to know the truth? As the wonderful teacher Byron Katie, who I've mentored with, asks, do I really want to know the truth? Do I want to see this thing like just looking at life as if something is thrown at me or something happens, or even I do something and I don't like it? I'm defensive, or I need to drum up my energy it's possible to fail. Notice that happening. That I need to fix stuff here. What if I didn't think that? So it's really interesting because this inquirer, and I've noticed myself too, I think if I don't have that harsh thought, if I don't kind of keep on track or schedule or get to the thing, it'll never, ever get done. I will just lay on the floor and do nothing. What would life be? I'd just be wandering around, I don't know, doing nothing. I wouldn't even go to work if I didn't think I have to. I wouldn't do it. But that's a great one to see. So it's like, what a fascinating thing to see. I believe that I have to have thinking has to be happening here, and I need to make a plan, and I need to understand in order for me to like be successful. And I also believe that I'll do nothing if I don't know how to handle something, if I don't work on fixing it, that it'll just be total chaos. But we kind of associate like this hopeless despair, like resignation. I'm just giving up entirely if I don't believe the thought I need to fix it. What if that is not true? What if that is not true? So what if this thing comes along and I can trust, this behavior that looks uncomfortable. It looks like I want to be the kind of person who doesn't do that. But what if I'm just, it looks like, so here I am, the kind of person, I could see myself for many years, more than a decade, having really intense binge eating behavior. And it doesn't even matter how long these things are, because for this particular human and this particular life, this is how long it looked like it was necessary. What if I began to look at, I wonder what this is helping me with. I wonder what this is here for. I wonder how I'm seeing things. How interesting. What if I'm okay? What if I'm okay? Just the way I am. Like, what if there's even something kind of interesting about this whole like binge eating thing that's going on? Like something is very determined. It is just going, I'm gonna get what I need. I'm gonna get what I want. And it's just gone down that track. So it's kind of used to it, and it's temporarily works. So that's why it likes to go in that direction. But I can also notice, as I really, really sit with the flow of any episode of self-sabotage of any kind, something feels, it doesn't feel entirely comfortable. It isn't done with ease. Like, let's say I'm procrastinating. Maybe that's my form of self-sabotage. The whole time procrastination is running, I am thinking about the thing that I'm not doing and kind of refusing to do it. Maybe there's something healthy in that refusing to do whatever it is. Maybe I'd be like an automaton, just doing everything that comes to mind on the list and just getting every single thing done. It's like there's no reason, or there's no place for rest and quiet in this world. It's like, wow, I'm really curious. What voices am I hearing? Who's talking? How did this spring to life? What's going on here? I know I wasn't born with the idea more and more and more food is going to really, really help me get stuff done. I definitely wasn't born with that. I know I wasn't. No babies were born thinking that, right? Completely innocent. But something happens along the way where it looks like doing that thing, having that behavior, focusing on that, grabbing that, getting that is an assistant somehow. It's helping something. It's just that then we start to think it's not. There must be something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me. I must have something missing. I must be insane. I must be a crazy person. It's so gross, so embarrassing. And then it'll just like get frantic in how shameful, right? What if it came along because it was really, really trying to help? What if procrastination, somebody here says procrastination is huge for me. What if procrastination is, attempting to allow doing nothing to be a possibility in this lifetime? Did we come here to just, run the whole time, hit the ground running, keep running till you drop dead? No, we sleep. It looks like everything is welcome here, and all parts of the balance of life are meant to be happening. Like Sleeping is so crazy, right? You're completely and totally unconscious, doing absolutely nothing. Then we think procrastination is fine right then, not doing anything, right? But so what is this that I'm not allowing it in that moment? Could I give myself a break? Could I stop believing this activity, this behavior is wrong? I just notice when I'm at war with the behavior, when I've circled that thing like we did at the beginning, and I say, so wrong, even a feeling itself, that is not very peaceful at all. Right? To be at war with something doesn't feel peaceful. And it feels alarming, like we feel like if I let go of that thought of being at war with this, like with being at war with overeating, at being at war with procrastinating, being at war with over drinking or smoking. I smoked too. Being at war with obsessing about how to fix something. Being at war with what happened in that relationship. Just noticing, the the thing that feels scared and then just wants to like manage to survive it. I need to survive it. And I need to be at war with it. I need to defend. I need to defend. And what if I didn't need to? And we'll think that if we aren't at war with it, I just really find that if I think that if I'm not focused on this thing, it'll never change. I will never be happy. So it's sort of like a hopeless feeling. So those are my choices. Either being miserable, focusing intensely on it and staying on track and doubling down and being aggressive and, kind of like winning, but not really peacefully, or being in the middle of the behavior unhappy. And neither one look very good. What if there was another way? And I'm saying, just what seemed to be really a huge shift for me, this still happens. It's just noticing what I'm against. So it used to be this heavy, heavy binge eating behavior. And now sometimes it's things like, what somebody else is doing or saying, like what one of my adult kids is doing or saying, or a feeling that I'm having of tension. And what if it was all right what if that's welcome that comes in? I notice it's just a part of me. It's not all of me. And what if I'm curious about that thing? Like, wow, this thing might be here to show me something. How strange. What if it's a sign of health? Not that there's something wrong with me. What if it's a sign of, I don't know, like it's another word for health, or just, humanness, openness. Like just the brain trying to help out, mind trying to help out with how to manage things well. What if I'm well-intentioned and right in the middle of my procrastination, right in the middle of my binging? What if something's really trying to help out? And until I can relax or really, really, just be willing to open up to that, as soon as I saw all the frantic feeling, it would be just like, wow, yes, for me, binge eating would help so much get all this anxiety out of me. Wonderful. It was like serving a purpose. I guess just seeing it could serve a purpose. And I can explore. I have the capacity to explore what that is. I can see what it is I'm thinking before I do the behavior or even during the behavior. And just be willing to catch a couple of those thoughts, that are having, like, how am I seeing life in this moment? Success, failure, right, wrong, good, bad, lots of dualities happening often. That's okay. Just think it's very, very natural and very normal for the mind. So who am I without my story? What an amazing, huge question. And I like that in self-inquiry, And in the Work of Byron Katie, we can narrow it down to just one moment. Who am I without my story that I just did that bad thing? So you just have, you don't start with all of life or all of yourself. It's just that one situation where it looks like I'm doing it wrong repeatedly. Who am I without my story? That's the wrong. Like, what if this is really important that this is here and that's why it's repeating itself? What if that is coming up and it's got something to show me? The good news is when it begins to feel that way, like it's not an enemy, self-sabotage, does it feel like an enemy? It might feel discouraging from time to time, but it's like it's just it's a learning moment. It's something really important. It's something that's helping me turn in another direction. And it's even okay that it's here because it is not all of who I am. It's not the full and complete of me. It's a temporary experience. Who I am is really solid and open and healthy and so steady. Like, look, something's here. The presence of something is here despite every single thing we've ever gone through. So, yeah, I would say, really looking at, somebody commenting here, overweight helps me feel grounded and anchored, and it reminds me I have a body and forces me to stop dissociating and coming back. Isn't that beautiful? So sweet. And then it's okay to keep like, wow, so, something in me, some part of me, not all of me, some part of me wants to, like, moves out and wants to go dissociate. Brilliant. Dissociation is such a brilliant activity of the mind. I mean, it has the capacity to put things in a cupboard and shut the door so that you can move on with other things. I mean, that's pretty incredible, right? And then it's also okay to see, like, this thing that I want to dissociate from, like be out of the body. What is it? I mean, that's a big question, but I could journal on it. I could write down, what is it that I want to escape from? What is it that I'm panicking about? Before, for me, eating was Velcro to anxiety, just like Velcro. Those really thick, strong kinds of Velcro that when you push them together, you can't even believe how much they can hold. It was like that, just Velcroed together. So what is it that anxiety wants to express? What does it want to say? So, and that could be, it looks really scary, but I can handle it. It's all right. It's okay. It looks like I want to, dissociate from these things in life. And it's very, very normal. And it's what a mind would think. Get away from that. But what if I've handled everything that I've ever gone through? I mean, that's what I notice. Here I am. Amazing. And so there is something here that is incredibly strong. Incredibly strong. And I just don't see it when I start to think I'm super threatened. And maybe all these things that ever happen or have happened are not as threatening as I have been thinking they are, because I'm not destroyed. So, I mean, looking there, and I know sometimes that can look like that's just a little bit at a time. It doesn't happen all at once. Just a little bit. So the first thing to do is just simply, I know this is a longer Q&A today. Didn't know that it would be longer, but just taking a moment, like maybe even only 5 minutes, to write down just a little bit what I want to dissociate from. What feels unanchored to me? What do I feel ungrounded about? Like, kind of, I like that word, anchored or grounded. What do I feel picked up off the ground by in life? And I only need to find one thing, just one thing that maybe has been, disturbing or threatening or difficult. Sometimes they're traumatic things. And just allow them to be there. And the thing is, we can keep going with the inquiry. We can do inquiry on that. And that is pretty incredible. Sometimes that's nice to do with other people in groups and with help, so that I don't panic and run away. And if I do panic and run away, that's okay too. But because that's the nature of it, just touching my toe in the water of what's there that's been frightening me. I had so much that was frightening me. I still have things that frighten me. But I love having self-inquiry, or like being able to look at thought itself differently. So anyway, see how that goes. Journaling is great. Talking out loud is great if you find yourself unwilling to write, or I don't like to journal, it looks too negative, and that's okay. Just talking out loud. What is it that I'm thinking and believing right now? What am I telling myself right now? What's happening that has felt so disturbing? And that it's okay. It does take courage, because it feels disturbing. It's not like the fun stuff, right? But it's all right. It's okay that that's happening, and it's never the all of us. It's just part. Some part of me is disturbed. Not all of me is disturbed. And like to listen and be with that part. And what if I'm okay, even though that happened, those thoughts come in, I have those memories, that looks unsafe. What if I'm okay anyway? And there's this, have you ever heard the saying, the way out is through? And sometimes it'd be like, I don't like that saying. Does it have to be? But I think just to get a little tiny touch, if you get a little tiny drop, just a drop of recognizing, you will get through, instead of like, it's going to kill me. Then you start to feel more like, oh, I can look at this. The only way out of this is I'm in the middle of the mountain. It looks really dark, and the way the tunnel out is that way. I can go through that tunnel. And I might not like it, but I'm going to go in that direction anyway, because I do want to get out of the mountain for being in the middle of the mountain. So yeah, I think it's wonderful that we all have whatever it takes. We can look. And then with the Work of Byron Katie, we've got 4 questions and finding turnarounds. So just one situation. Somebody says, I'll get my pinky toe in. That's all that's needed. That's what's really great about it. Doesn't have to, oh my God, it all has to come in. Just a little tiny pinky toe. Just letting it be there. I like thinking of it is like, if there was a big giant Cineplex movie theater and it had all different kinds of movies playing. And then let's say when we feel this way, 9 out of 10 of them, there's a horror movie playing. You open up, you're in the theater, and that's like gruesome, horrible, everything looks bad. Next theater, horrible. I mean, I don't like horror movies. I hate them. I'm like, I don't need to see more of that. I have enough of the anxiety in my own mind already. I've that's been happening there. But so, and it's like we're stuck. We think we're going to be stuck right in the theater, like staring at it. And the thing is, we can just, all the sounds and the feeling and the full on, it's amazing when we're in a movie, we just like will cry, even though we know the thing isn't real, but we're right in there. And the thing is, we can get up and walk out of the theater, and that's naturally what happens. The movie ends, the memory fades out, our day-to-day existence. We're not going to get trapped and stuck forever, wallowing or trapped or like, broken, because we're stuck in the horror movie theater because we opened up to walking into the theater. It's actually looking often helps the lights get turned on. And you can just be in the pinky toe. You can just be like, I'm opening the door and then I'm going to shut it. I just want to hear the sound, and that's all it takes. I don't have to be in there staring at it. So yeah, inquiry can be pretty amazing. So the last thing I'll say is, just to wrap this up, is that the inquirer who was doing the work on having this big project that had to get done, and she's using food, little bits of food all day and believing that this food, as she looked at it, it's like, oh, that food helps me. It fuels me to get this project finished. She saw that part of her wanted to just sit and read a book. And then she was believing, oh, I would just read the book all day long and no project would ever get done. And then she could see maybe it would get done in a different way, like way more fun with music playing. And then she might stop and read a book for a while and then get back up and she was interested in the project. She, liked the project, could be fun doing it. It wasn't a have to or burden or something that requiring tons of extra energy. It's like just the amount of energy she had could be the right amount of energy, and something that maybe, and that she even could see things from childhood about taskmaster stuff, being told what to do and believing you absolutely have to do it in order to, get approval and do it right and not get in trouble. And that she was still running this kind of program, like a computer program, in her own life. So maybe it could be done completely differently. And the task didn't even need to be done at all. Like swing to the complete opposite and just have fun playing with that. And then just notice it'll probably come back to a much more balanced place. Could it be peaceful to do this thing? And she was like realizing how it was actually fun. It involved unpacking some boxes and, just opening a box and seeing, oh, that's what's in this box, and just doing one little thing at a time, taking it easy, having so much fun with it. Almost like the idea of wanting to stretch something out because it's a fun activity. Would it be so different? Then the food, all this extra food or whatever it is that we think we're doing is not required to help us get it done, because getting it done is not required either. Not required. Who would I be without my story? Who would I be without my story? What if I could handle this better than I have been thinking? What if I'm not wrong? What if I'm not broken? What if I don't need to be fixed? What if it's just my thinking and the way it's been repeating itself? It's been trying to help me out, but it doesn't really have the answer. It just needs to we need to be unthought. So without the story, I need to stop this behavior. Ultimately, we started this with, I need to stop the behavior. I've done all these things to fix it. What if I don't need to stop this behavior? That is the strangest thing in the world for some of us to say. Like, how could that be true? It looks like a life and death situation. Just consider it. Look how it feels if you don't have to stop, if you're free. Yeah. Nothing's required there, if you have a choice. What if you don't have to stop? I just know if I don't have to stop, something that I think, oh my God, I have to stop that. Something feels like it lets go and is so much more relaxed. All right, great question today. Thank you. Thanks for staying here and being here, everybody. Let me know how it goes. All right, I'll see you next week. Oh, everyone. So self-sabotage workshop, go to workwithgrace.com, and right there on the landing page, it shows a way that you can register for it. And it's just a free workshop to kind of talk about some of these steps. And I'm going to share about year of inquiry at the end. And that's not required or anything. It's just, I like talking about that program because we look so much at self-inquiry and all these little things that appear and come up all the time. That's what it's all about. Questioning your beliefs and, rewiring or re-looking at your whole self without all the stories, but first identifying the stories, seeing what they are. Anyway, so I'll be talking about that. But the workshop is standalone. I think will be good. Love your feedback. And it's happening soon. So hope you'll join me. All right. Lots of love, everybody.